You're also helping us through a busy time in the city, which is a big transition time for back to school. And there are actually a lot of things people need to know about it. I always think about it, I've got 4 kids and especially the littler ones, you just drivers out there, it's really important this time of year to be aware of it's busier, there's more kids, there's buses. What's top of mind for you that you want to just remind everybody?
And it really is top of mind. So here I was just talking about cars that will be legally allowed to drift and cut donuts in the middle of downtown Atlanta. And now we switch to the 25-mile-an-hour school zone.
Yes.
But hey, I cover slow cars and fast cars for a living. It's what I do. So I just went to the AAA Schools Open Drive Safely event. It's literally a campaign that they've had for some 80 years or 80-plus years, all right? And they just held it at the Cobb County Safety Village. I don't know if you've ever been to the Cobb County Safety Village.
No, I'd love to visit.
It's like a simulated village or town that they do all these different simulated exercises at. But it was really just a cadre of AAA, state, and then Cobb County officials reminding people these things. So here's what, of course, the school zone being 25 miles per hour isn't just being overly cautious. And you have a look here from some school buses being loaded right now. If a child is hit at 25 miles an hour versus 45, they are twice as likely to survive.
Wow.
That's why 25 is the number. So, of course, we're slowing down. Distraction is a top, we need to keep the phones put away, eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, just like the Doors used to sing, right? Okay. But here's another one too. If you have, and this is a new one on me, so I'd love to know what you think about this as a parent of teenagers. If you have a teen driver who maybe has their driver's license for the first time with school back in, maybe take them on a dry run through the school zones. Just remember, here's what 25 miles per hour feels like without holding your phone. Because it'll be maybe their first time driving to high school and having to navigate an elementary or middle school zone, right?
It's such a good point because, all the clusters that the 3 schools are together, elementary, middle and high school right there. And just, and sometimes when things are so busy for like my new drivers, it's just a little more anxiety. And sometimes it's just the nervousness that makes you make that move that's different. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and it wasn't mine. It wasn't original.
Well, thanks for passing it along. But just having the conversation and then also just the dry run. I saw you out there with the kindergartners who got to practice on the school bus, which was so cute. But really a different kind of dry run maybe for those newer drivers.
I think whether you're, and by the way, you, the adult driver too, okay, because it might take you 5 or 10 more minutes to get out of your neighborhood on Monday morning. You just need to remember that. And of course, the school bus stop laws, you can never say it enough. When that stop sign is out, it means everybody in both directions stops so that school bus can unload or load unless there's a physical barrier like grass or a wall on the road. If it's just a painted line on the road, you need to stop too if you're coming the other way. So you got to remember that. And lastly, they had a reminder about e-bike safety. They just kind of threw this in. So AAA has it's called E-Ride Ready program, I believe. Okay. And that's a whole different splinter, if you will, but more kids are going to be riding these e-bikes and e-scooters and going faster. They require different helmets for how fast you're going. You need to have your helmet properly fitted. All right. And parents should remember that there are different classes of e-bikes. And if you have an 8-year-old who just seems really skilled, they don't need to be on the higher class of e-bike because they could go really fast with very little effort. And you're supposed to mind all pedestrian and traffic laws too, instead of just blowing through an intersection. So the Cobb County has a Safe Kids program where they could give free helmets to kids that can't afford them. So there's in Cobb County a way to be covered with that.
That's good. All such really good information, Doug. Thanks for helping us through it all.
For sure. There'll be a test later. I know that was a lot. We just did whiplash on that, but real. Rachel Cox Rosen and I will be all over your ride on Monday morning, starting at 4:30, and I'll be stationed at the Cobb County School Bus Dispatch Center. Because they taught me how they keep these buses straight and how they take calls and an app you can use to track your bus too. So that'll be 4:30 Monday morning here on 11 Live.
Oh, wouldn't miss it. And thank you to all the bus drivers out there. I've gotten to meet a couple over the years through stories and special people taking care of those kiddos to and from every day. So thank you to the bus drivers and keep an eye on this guy this weekend. Watch his socials because he's going to be busy and it's going to be fun to see. We'll bring it all to you here on 11 Live. Doug, always fun to have you. Thanks so much.
You're great, Cheryl.
All
Thanks
right.
to you and Jordan for having me.
Okay, see you in just a bit.